I'm David Toman, author of Nootropics Expert and this YouTube channel. In this video, you'll discover the nootropic benefits of Picamilon. Now, this is an update to a video I made on Picamilon several years ago. You will learn why we use Picamilon as a nootropic supplement. You'll learn what it is, the recommended dosage for Picamilon, and how often to use it, the potential side effects of this supplement, and who should avoid using it as a nootropic supplement, and where to buy Picamilon. Sound good? Now, before we get started, if you find this video useful, please subscribe to this channel. And hit the share button too, so others can learn about Picamilon and how it may help them and their brain health goals. So stay with me for a few minutes and I'll tell you more about Picamilon. Let's get started. Picamilon is a combination of the inhibitory neurotransmitter GABA with nicotinic acid, or vitamin B3 or niacin. Now, the addition of niacin allows GABA to cross the blood-brain barrier more easily and quickly. Neurohackers prefer either Picamilon or phenibut when the goal is to raise GABA levels in the brain because synthetic GABA alone has a hard time crossing the blood-brain barrier. And note that taking GABA and niacin as a stack will not produce the same effect as Picamilon. GABA is bonded with niacin to produce Picamilon, and it's this molecule that does its magic in the brain. Picamilon was developed in Russia in 1969 by the All-Union Research Institute, and it has been used since 1986 as a pharmaceutical in Russia to treat attention, memory, and learning problems, and for the treatment of loss of brain blood circulation, brain trauma, chronic alcoholism, and other disorders. Now, the company's promotional material states, "The important property of Picamilon is the ability to quickly restore mental and physical fitness for work which has been lost through overstress." Once Picamilon crosses the blood-brain barrier, it hydrolyzes into GABA and niacin. GABA activates GABA receptors, producing an anxiolytic response, and niacin acts as a vasodilator, relaxing constricted blood vessels and improving blood flow in the brain. Now, Russian scientists conducted a lot of research into GABA and cognitive health in the 1960s and 70s. The nootropics community has benefited from this research. It was the Belgians who started the development of the racetam family of nootropics. And not too long afterwards, Russian scientists combined the research on GABA-derived compounds and gave us phenibut and Picamilon. GABA's role is to keep glutamate, the primary excitatory transmitter, from overwhelming your brain. Too much glutamate can cause a seizure, and too little GABA can put you in a coma. A healthy brain maintains a critical balance of GABA and glutamate. GABA acts like a brake on neuron circuits during stress. Low GABA levels can result in anxiety, insomnia, poor mood, and restlessness. Now, clinical studies show that boosting GABA with a supplement like Picamilon relieves anxiety, stress, and boosts the production of alpha brainwaves. If GABA is optimized in your brain, you'll feel focused, relaxed, and stress-free. But the big challenge for cognitive health is trying to boost GABA levels in the brain. GABA has a hard time crossing the blood-brain barrier on its own. It needs help to carry it across this barrier. Now, including niacin in the Picamilon formula helps GABA to cross the blood-brain barrier. And the reason why some neurohackers prefer Picamilon when the goal is to raise GABA levels in your brain. Picamilon is unique among GABA boosters because it can boost cerebral circulation as well. It increases cerebral vascular activity better than piracetam and, believe it or not, vinpocetine. It's even better at boosting blood flow than prescription vasodilating drugs. So when using Picamilon to boost GABA, you enhance cerebral circulation and lower blood pressure. GABA even stimulates the pituitary gland to secrete human growth hormone and helps produce endorphins that make you feel good after a workout or sex. As a nootropic, when you use Picamilon to normalize GABA levels, and you'll improve blood flow to and within your brain. And you should experience a reduction in anxiety, insomnia, nervousness, restlessness, and stress. Picamilon exhibits the properties of a tranquilizer with a stimulating component. But unlike tranquilizer drugs, Picamilon does not include muscle relaxation, drowsiness, or lethargy. Picamilon helps brain health and function in several ways, but two in particular stand out. First, Picamilon boosts cognition. Picamilon is a derivative of GABA and niacin and easily crosses the blood-brain barrier. GABA on its own cannot cross this barrier unless paired with a dedicated carrier. When niacin is bonded to GABA, the molecule easily enters the brain. Once in the brain, Picamilon separates back into niacin and GABA. GABA works by preventing neural signaling associated with anxiety from reaching other neurons. It does this by attaching to the receptors that would otherwise excite those neurons. Overstimulating neurons in certain areas of your brain is what can cause anxiety-related symptoms. Studies have shown that this unique combination of niacin and GABA affect the regulation of neurotransmitters in the brain. Picamilon was shown in one study on Parkinson's disease to normalize serotonin and dopamine content and dopamine uptake in the brain. In the study, authors noted that Picamilon could be useful in the treatment of Parkinson's disease. And this second way that this nootropic works in the brain, Picamilon improves cerebral circulation or cerebral blood flow. Picamilon is more effective than paracetam and vinpocetine, according to studies, in improving blood flow in the brain. It easily crosses the blood-brain barrier to protect neurons against the effects of diminished oxygen flow, improving cognitive function. Picamilon separates into niacin and GABA once it crosses the blood-brain barrier. Niacin acts as a vasodilator, relaxing blood vessels and allowing the freer flow of blood in the brain. Picamilon is often prescribed in Russia for treatment of migraine headaches. A study published in Nutrition Journal reviewed clinical trials from 1990 to 2004, and they looked at studies using niacin to treat migraines and other tension-type headaches. The conclusion from this review showed niacin's effectiveness for its vasodilator properties in increasing brain blood flow, and its ability to improve mitochondrial energy metabolism. The result is fewer migraines and less headaches when using a nootropic containing niacin. Picamilon is an analog of GABA and niacin. The addition of niacin allows GABA to cross the blood-brain barrier. We need adequate GABA levels in our brain because it's an inhibitory neurotransmitter. When we raise GABA levels by supplementing with Picamilon, we help keep glutamate in check. Glutamate is your body's most abundant excitatory neurotransmitter, which is needed for attention, mental energy, learning, and memory, and staying awake. So GABA is calming and glutamate is stimulating, and they must be in balance with each other for optimal cognitive health. An imbalance of these two neurotransmitters can cause fibromyalgia, chronic fatigue syndrome, poor memory and cognition, anxiety, and even depression. But when these two neurotransmitters work together efficiently, you feel relaxed, with no stress or feelings of anxiety, and you get a more restful night's sleep. The addition of niacin in the Picamilon formula helps improve cognition even more. One study with 96 healthy volunteers was done to determine the effects on memory with niacin. The study found that niacin enhanced cell metabolism and oxygen supply in the brain, resulting in an improvement in short-term and long-term memory. Adding Picamilon to your nootropic stack can help bring GABA and glutamate back into balance. When you balance GABA levels in your brain, you feel relaxed and calm. But many neurohackers who try using GABA as a supplement don't feel the effects because the GABA molecule is too large to easily cross the blood-brain barrier. Now note If you do feel the calming effects of supplementing with GABA within a half hour of taking it, it may mean that you have a leaky brain. It's not a good thing, because if GABA can easily get through, all kinds of nasty stuff can get through too, including toxins, undigested food particles, and anything else in your bloodstream that should not be in your brain. Now learn how to fix a leaky blood-brain barrier by watching my video, How to Heal a Leaky Blood-Brain Barrier, which you'll find on this channel. I'll put a link to that video down in the notes section below this video. But here we're talking about increasing our GABA levels using Picamilon. Neurohackers report that adding Picamilon to their stack relieves anxiety better than Xanax. There is less stress and they feel more relaxed. Picamilon also offers a stimulant effect, providing mental clarity. Dreams can be vivid, and it's not sedating like Phenibut. Social functions could get some help with Picamilon. You could feel less inhibited, speak freely, and feel more confident. Picamilon generates a calm focus without making you drowsy. Now, some neurohackers maintain that the magic with Picamilon is in the niacin. And I'd have to agree with this observation. It's what provides the stimulant effect and gives you an energized type of calmness. The cognitive benefits of niacin are considerably understated in the nootropics community. Just check out the research and studies in my video on NADH on this channel for more on the magic of niacin. You'll find a link to that video down in the notes section below this video. Nearly all the research with Picamilon has taken place in Russia. It's published in Russian journals in Russian. Most of these trials are not indexed on international or U.S. medical databases. Now, I won't get into the politics of this type of behavior here on the Nootropics Expert channel. I'm here to educate and collate information for you on nootropics to help your cognitive health. Now, the sources I have been able to find show Picamilon extensively studied in animals and humans. And it has been shown to act like a tranquilizer without the sedative effects of muscle relaxation, drowsiness, or lethargy. The studies show Picamilon decreases anxiety, fear, irritability, and symptoms of emotional stress. It inhibits aggression, and it restores physical working capacity after stressful work. Picamilon has been proven to prevent forgetfulness, enhance memory, recall, and improve mood. It decreases headaches, dizziness, and tinnitus. It increases mental and motor activity in patients with anxiety and depression. Picamilon has been shown to prevent or suppress diabetic neuropathy and alleviate the effects of alcohol withdrawal. It helps glaucoma, retinal and optic nerve damage, and it helps those with neurologically based urinary problems. Here we talk about how Picamilon, niacin, and GABA can affect your cognition and overall health. This research supports the idea of using Picamilon to raise GABA and niacin levels, and the cognitive benefits can have a profound effect on your quality of life. Reports by neurohackers repeatedly show that Picamilon provides a calm focus without making you drowsy. And this study done in the Ukraine gives us a clue on how this works. This study was done with Parkinson's patients. It is well known that serotonin and dopamine content and dopamine uptake by neurons in Parkinson's is decreased. This research found that Picamilon normalized dopamine uptake in Parkinson's, and that Picamilon is involved in the regulation of brain neurotransmission under experimental Parkinson's and can be useful in the treatment of Parkinson's disease. We know from our research on Nootropics Expert that NADH boosts ATP energy production within brain cell mitochondria. And this energizing effect that's often spoken of when using Picamilon comes at least in part from its niacin component. This study done with 1-month-old rats looked at trauma of the brain. The researchers studied oxidative damage done on brain mitochondria 1, 4, and 7 days and 4 weeks after the trauma. The young rats were given several different nootropics to see the effect on the rats' mitochondria, and they concluded that Picamilon had a protective effect on the function of brain mitochondria during trauma. Picamilon increases blood supply, oxygen saturation, and blood circulation in the brain. This boost in blood flow brings the nutrients and oxygen needed to produce ATP within brain cell mitochondria. The recommended daily starting dosage of Picamilon for anxiety is 50 milligrams, that's 50, 2 or 3 times per day. Now, if you're looking for a stimulatory effect, you can safely increase your dose to 100 milligrams, 2 or 3 times daily. Picamilon is considered safe when taken in normal recommended doses. Picamilon has not been shown in clinical trials to produce any allergic or toxic effects. The only side effects noted were headache, dizziness, and nausea, and nearly always when taken above recommended doses. At higher doses, Picamilon can lower blood pressure. So if you're already on blood-lowering medication or have an issue with low blood pressure, you should probably not use Picamilon. Picamilon as a nootropic supplement is available in powder, tablet, and capsule form. I recommend Cosmic Nootropic Picamilon tablets or Science Bio Picamilon, who sell Picamilon as a research compound. It is sold to be used in an academic laboratory research setting. They go on to state that nothing we sell is intended for nor is it manufactured for diagnostic or therapeutic purposes in humans, which they must say if they want to keep selling Picamilon and not get in trouble with the authorities. Now, you will find links to both stores in the notes section below this video. Just click the More button, and it'll open up the notes section. If you choose to buy bulk Picamilon powder from a vendor, make sure you ask for a genuine certificate of analysis to verify its authenticity, as you cannot always trust dietary supplements sold from just anyone. That's kind of a duh. So that's my report on Picamilon. Oh, by the way, and that is why I recommend Science Bio, because they will provide a C of A. So that's my report on Picamilon. If you want to see links to the studies I talked about, go to my website, Nootropics Expert, and search for Picamilon. Or click on the link below in the notes section of this video. Just click the More button right below this video, and that will open the notes section. So once you're at my website, Nootropics Expert, you'll find a full transcript for this video. You'll also find dozens of articles on all the well-known nootropics on Nootropics Expert. And if you haven't already, download your free copy of Secrets of the Optimized Brain. It's nearly 100 pages, and it contains details on 92 of the most popular nootropics used today. And my 4-time award-winning book, the second edition of Head First, The Complete Guide to Healing and Optimizing Your Brain with Nootropic Supplements, is now available. Head First, the second edition, is 962 pages and is available in hardcover, paperback, or for iPad or Kindle. You can get your copy at any major bookseller, including Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Apple Books, Walmart, and others. You'll find a link to these stores down below in the notes section of this video. And did I mention Head First won 4 awards? You really need to get a copy if you haven't already. Head First is available worldwide. And if you could use some personal help with choosing the right nootropics or figuring out how to deal with your own brain health issues, consider booking a personal consultation with me. You'll find a link to my calendar down below in the notes section of this video. And if you want to see more videos on all the best nootropics used today, subscribe to this channel before you go. I'll be putting up new videos on nootropics and optimizing your brain every week. I'm David Toman, author of Nootropics Expert.